Gideon had been chosen by God to save Israel from the Midianites. Thousands and thousands of Midianites were camping in a valley. The Lord said to Gideon, "There are too many people with you. If you beat the Midianites, Israel will think they won by their own power. Tell everyone who's afraid to go home." And 22,000 of the people went home. Only 10,000 were left. And the Lord said to Gideon, "There are still too many people. Go down to the water and I will show you who will go with you." God said that everyone who lapped the water like a dog should stay with Gideon, but all those who knelt down to drink should go home. That meant there were only 300 men left. If they won against the Midianites, it could only be by God's power. The Lord told Gideon to go down into the camp, and he would hear something that would strengthen him. He went with his servant, and they heard a man telling someone his dream. He dreamt that a barley cake had rolled into the camp and flattened a tent. "This means God will give us into Gideon's hand," the other soldier said. Gideon worshipped God and returned to his men. He split them into 3 groups and gave everyone a trumpet and a jar with a torch inside. "When I blow the trumpet," he said, "do the same and shout, 'For the Lord and for Gideon.'" The 300 men spread out around the Midianite camp, and in the middle of the night they blew their trumpets, smashed their jars, and cried out, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." The Midianites were thrown into a panic. They started running away, and some of them started fighting each other. The Israelites chased after them, and 2 Midianite princes were killed. Gideon's men crossed over the river Jordan and asked the men on the other side for some bread to eat. They refused, so Gideon later came back and punished them. He also captured the 2 Midianite kings and killed them. The Midianites had been beaten. The Israelites said to Gideon, "Rule over us." But Gideon said, "The Lord will rule over you." He did ask the people, though, for lots of gold, and made an ephod out of it. Sadly, the ephod was used in ways that went against God's commandments. But the land had peace in Gideon's time. He had 70 sons, and he died at a good old age. We learn from this story that God doesn't need our help. He didn't need thousands of Israelites to fight the Midianites. He could do it with just a few. And we learn that God has power to save. He rescued his people from a massive army, and he can rescue us from sin and Satan. And we learn that the best men still do wrong. Gideon's ephod led the people into wrong worship that displeased the Lord.